Good morning, boys. I want to start off by thanking you so much for 3,000 likes on the last video, and as I promised, I gotta give you the base design. I'm a couple of days late on this, but hear me out. After recording the last video, my microphone broke, and I tried my best to repair it. Turns out I just didn't have the BB, but then I researched it and now it works fine. Look, I came to a really cliffy and hilly area because I usually tend to build on terrible terrain. And the reason I also want to be on terrible terrain is because usually base designs are shown on an incredibly flat area, and then when you try them on the actual server, which is like this, it's impossible to make them. So we're gonna get started. We're gonna do our simple 1x1 like I always do. I tend to place TC on the left corner over here. Now, I'm not a base builder, I know you can tell, but I'm gonna give it my best so you can understand how I build my base, which is, again, not great, but it fits really well my solo playstyle. It's not difficult, it's super cheap to maintain. Once I'm well set up on my 1x1, I got at least a box, and I'm about to place tier 1. What I tend to do is already be able to expand just 2 squares over here. The left one is gonna lead upstairs, and the right one is gonna be our Dropbox loot room. What I wanna do is place 2 of these over here. And there we go, we got our starter base. I never follow a specific order when building my base, but usually what I try to achieve is reaching a state when I got tier 2 running electrical furnaces, which I just plug from the top of the base with 2 solar panels. We can also add the TC loot room like this by adding a square from the outside. Once I got my starter, I usually try to fill up the symmetry in the base, which tend to be my build-ups towards the base. By day 1, I usually find it easy to get to the state where I can just apply garage doors to this room, and my sleeping bag is always placed in the metal triangle. Of course, the rocks aren't necessary, I'm just a freaking troll. This is usually what my base looks like about 2 to 4 hours into wipe. Now, when I know I got a pretty loaded core and I don't want to lose all of this is when, before going to bed, I tend to upgrade the base. For that, we go again filling the symmetry, and we choose the side that we're gonna wrap all of our garage doors around. I usually do that side. I keep this as honeycomb for that side, and I go all the way around, and we know that since we're gonna have a honeycomb here, which I usually place like that, I tend to make my ladder up here. This is gonna be our honeycomb, and this is gonna be our way to the roof. Go. Bim, boom, bum, bimba, and bum. There we go. Our roof, which means this is gonna be our entrance. Now we just fill up all the roofs. Again, I'm not really good at this. No, I'm gonna correct myself. I'm terrible at this, so I apologize for that, but I promise I'm trying my best. Here, what we do, I usually have a slot for furnaces. Not furnaces that I make, because I try to use electrical furnaces, but furnaces that I steal from Molotov raids. Remember to use metal doors, boys. We can wrap this like that, and now, if you reach this stage, your base looks, well, terrible. And it's because we're lacking the whole honeycombing, so we're gonna work on that. For you to better understand, I made the whole core yellow so you can understand what we are trying to honeycomb right now. So it's as simple as this. We just fill those gaps. We're gonna place triangles here. Again, triangles here. This is gonna be the side of our entrance, so we can play around a lot. And triangles here is fully wrapped around, and here is where I usually can play around. Sometimes I like to just make, I can make a drop box there. I'm a big fan of also having like an octagon as an entrance, where I can fill it with shop fronts and garage doors. I tend to finalize my day 1 with a base looking a little bit like this, and if not, actually a few steps even further. I tend to upgrade the whole thing to sheet metal. In terms of deployables, I don't think I have to tell you anything. I tend to place the tier 3 really close to this hole over here. so that I can access tier 3 from the bottom without having to make the crouch jump. Then I like to make these really cozy spots where I can just AFK during nighttime. I think this is like actually advised. Again, deployables, you do your thing. I just play so many different wipes every time that I don't have the same items every wipe, so I just randomize it. Anything works if it's comfortable for you. I usually go around with something like this, always filling this spot with shotgun traps, but it has plenty of room for your mixing tables or anything you'll ever need. What I mean about playing around with the entrances is just doing little things like this. Let's say in this instance, just because I was playing around while making this design, I figured I could make a loot room inside over the jump up, which even you could probably put a bed and a locker if you remove this, and you have a place to quickly depot and raid defense, having multiple of them around. I don't know, you know, just do your thing. I don't think everyone should follow the same designs. I'm so tired of going around the server and literally seeing the same bases for every clan. It's just boring. Like, back in the day, you started with a 2x1 and a 2x2 and just let your imagination flow. That was the brilliant thing. Or you would just get more suited to the terrain. Now everyone's making the same designs because they don't want to risk making mistakes. They would rather make something that someone else mistake proof that risks the chance of making fun mistakes. And I think fun mistakes are something that make this game thrive. So enough about ranting. Let's continue. If you're gonna still continue on this base on a day 2, you've angered your neighbors a lot. Of course, finish that triangle all the way up. Do it on every single side. You should have probably already done it on this jump up since it's the way you come up. Now, technically, your base is already fine. It's completely perfect to survive a good rocket raid. Now, from here on out, a vending machine will do you wonders. I highly recommend getting one, and then just start playing around with the roofs. There's really I just slab as many as I can. There's no really consideration to onlines or none of that, since I've gotten online literally 3 times in the last 2 years, guys. So I'm not gonna make you like a super mega online base defense. This is more about just enjoy your day in Rust. What's great about the base is that even on this stage, which you could say would sound quite expensive, I maintain it on myself as a solo, and it's only about 4,600 frags a day. It's, for me, actually nothing. Just for the memes, I'm gonna put it on its final boss form, just cause why not? Because if you think about it, like, this is what my base looked like on my last video. I'm not making something exaggerated or something that would be surreal. This is literally what I made my base look like on my latest video. Of course, you can do way more to the base. I'm, again, not a builder. I don't know what I'm doing. This is quite literally what my base was looking like in 2 days on my last video. It looks expensive. It's probably not made for everyone. I am, again, very sweaty, and I play for several hours making a base like this possible for me in about a day or 2. And about its cost on its full form, if you want to say it, it's still roughly 80 HQM, 5,000 frags, and 5,000 stone, which I can easily upkeep. You can, of course, infest this place with shotgun traps, add armored doors. Your limits are your own. Simply showing you guys the layout of it, the footprint, because several of you were asking, but everything is interchangeable. I hope I made myself understandable throughout this guide and it was useful to you, and that you have an amazing rest of your day. See ya, boys. Thanks for watching. Have a great one.